It's a very, very exciting day to come, and one that's been expected for some time. A lot of us have been waiting for the last 6 months approximately for this first rate cut to happen, and I would be stunned if we don't get that today. It's been my projection since Trump got into office, even before that, we would get that first rate cut this year at the September meeting, which is in mid-September. Today, we're going to hear it right around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a crazy little thing happen today in the market. So not in the crypto market yet, but just understand how this tends to follow. And let me just say hi quickly to some of you in here so it doesn't get out of hand. Sola Jeffy, welcome in. Silver Days, Hamza, good evening or good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's over 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Crypto Cooter and Defined Group, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for your 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with Craig Carlson. And Defined and Crypto Cooter, thank you so much for being very trusted mods in here and in the Telegram. It's super important. Poop Soup and Terry, welcome in. Scotty Trades, good morning. Devin, welcome in, and thanks for being a very trusted mod in here. And also in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP-589 Moon Badge. Incredible support and help guiding this community. Eddie Lance, welcome in. Mosey here. CJ2 Pilot, UK Phil, thank you all three of you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. John Patak, thanks for being in here for over 2 years now with the XRP-589 Moon Badge. Amanda, welcome in. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Dennis Smith, good morning. Thanks for being in your second month along with Mrs. Stott in both of your second months with the Dusty Dados Crypto News. Thank you both so very much for that support. I really appreciate it. Robert Montoya, welcome in. Mrs. Stott, if I don't see Mr. Stott, tell him hello for me and give my love. Poppy Lou, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. 1970 Legend, thank you for being in here for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Also a very trusted mod, and also our heated rival from the Buckeye land, the defending national champs. The Big Ten, believe it or not, has won 2 straight national titles. So my good friend down there in Buckeye territory, I appreciate you being in here, 1970 Legend. I appreciate it. Couldn't even let me enjoy 1 whole year of being the national champion. Nope. They seen Michigan won it all and said, we're going to do whatever it takes. And they did, and they did. They did, and they did. Anthony Venegas, welcome in. Rob Hokeluk, good morning. William Hayes, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. And Mark Caston, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. The Gatman just walked in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Excellent, and look at that. Trading with J-Rides in here, and he's been in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. We've got everybody in here from every single sector except that 1 month badge. We have not got very many members in September, but I have confidence that I can gain more members of Tom's Army, as we've lost about 10 members this month. But that's okay. We've also had a lot of people go from 1 month to 2 to 2 to 3 to 3 to 6 to 6 to 12. So it's nice. But we did lose a few members, which is sad, but we'll gain many more, I'm confident. David Hoff, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month, along with Juan Canolis for both of your second months at the Dusty Dados Crypto News. And Robert, good morning. So, continuing what I was saying, we've got a pretty interesting part here with the stock market. So, the Dow is up 303 points right now, over 46,000. And not exactly the same story with the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000. But what I can say is it looks like there's an interesting bottom that could be forming in all 3 of those markets, as to where the Dow just prematurely jumped up. So it's a pretty interesting divergence so far that the Dow's made from the rest of the sectors. That would be like Bitcoin going up, and then not Bitcoin, the total crypto market cap going up, and the total 3 and others just going down for whatever reason. And all that would tell us is, it's probably Bitcoin, and Ethereum doing the noise, or at least the top end, And then the total 3 in the others, which would be everything outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then everything outside of the top 10 aren't really doing much. So, but it's also different sectors. So it'd be like the gold mining stocks not doing anything, the silver miners not doing anything, gold going crazy, and silver even not doing anything. It'd be kind of weird. But then all of a sudden you see how things are set up. And I'm waiting for the TV to flip back for Bloomberg on a commercial, but I want to see the updated numbers before I say the other ones. Wow, Sola Jeffy, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. That is unbelievable. Thank you so much for that. In your first month, and I know you're a new member because that's the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Now we've hit every single emoji badge that is possible for the audience. So we have everybody in every level. That's awesome. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month, as I said, with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. And that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge. Circa 2019, slightly chubbier in circa 2019. Not crazy out of shape, but not in the shape of 41-year-old Tom. But I'm going to share Sola Jeffy. I'm going to share in the Telegram, I mean, on my YouTube post, and this is for members only, which you'll get now for the first time, a link to the Telegram. I want you to be in there, and everybody who's in Tom's Army, that's available for you. That's a perk for the members of Tom's Army. I used to make it for everybody, but we got so many spammers and so many people that didn't have goodwill that I had to change it. So I think it's cool to have it for the members of Tom's Army and the ones who want to become a closer community. So make sure you look for that. I just shared that in the Telegram, my friend. I mean, on the post on YouTube. I would show it on YouTube, but as we know, a lot of people, for whatever reason, they spliced it, and then they would, they would know what my stuff said, so they'd create their own stuff and try to scam the audience. But wherever there's good, there's bad. Like I say, when you're guided by your Lord and Savior, you're going to be hit up by the devil himself. That's why one of the truest sayings I ever heard was, when you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil, and it shook me at the core. And I know many of you, as I stated, have messaged me privately, have messaged me through email, or even said it on here that said, man, that shook me, thinking about it that way. It should. That's why I make the statement. Mike B, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty House Crypto News. Says, been trying to get my new RV. Sorry, haven't been able to get it on. Hello, everyone. Hey, Mr. Tom. Hey, Mike, I'm glad that you're here. Don't be sorry. You're trying to get something done, and I respect that. I'm glad that you're checking in and you're paying attention still. Hopefully everything goes good with the RV. So, with the Scotty Trade stock market is jamming. Yes. It is jamming, I suppose. I mean, the Dow's up 297. The S&P's down $6. It's the NASDAQ that's interesting, down 109 right now. But it does look like it could be putting in some kind of weird reversal phase. It's hard to tell at this point. But it could be putting in a reversal phase. But it's interesting that the NASDAQ, which, to me, crypto more closely follows the NASDAQ for whatever reason. So the NASDAQ being off by $111 or 111 points, or 0.5%. And then you see crypto down for the most part. XDC's up, but from what I know, and I don't use the exchange, but it got listed on, which one was it? Which one did XDC get listed on today? I know somebody in the Telegram set. Here, let me see if I can see it. I think somebody shared it. So XDC listed on eToro. I don't know, because I don't use eToro. I don't know how much that would move the needle for XDC. But eToro is, a lot of people use it. But I don't know if that's true or not. It could be the reason why XDC's up a little bit. But XDC is going to get listed on major markets at some point. It's going to happen. Like, it's not always not going to be on the major exchanges. At least it's available on KRAKEN. Recently, they added about just as much as a few weeks ago. or as early as a couple weeks ago, I should say. So that's a good thing. At least we have exposure there. But it's pretty interesting watching. Like the NASDAQ is definitely pushing down here a little bit. And when you look at all of this, it makes it an interesting, compelling case. Another thing that was interesting today is, remember how I always say you want to say things dumping down the night before or leading in? Well, overnight, silver was down like 2.5%. Gold was down 30-something dollars. The mining stocks, when they first came on in pre-market, you're talking Dolly Varden was under $4. Silver Corp Metals was down to like $4.89. Hecla was down to mid $10 range. Fortuna was down into the mid 7s. First Majestic was under 10. Pan America was down at 34 something or 35. They dropped a lot in pre-market. And then over all of a sudden now, silver's gained half of it back. Gold is only down $5 to the point that Barrick Mining's up 1.3. B2 Gold was down 2.5% in pre-market. Now it's reversed almost 4%. Or 3.5%, and it's like they were dumping out prematurely. It's almost like they were trying to gain a little liquidity for what's to come. So I'm trying to find like little areas that are trying to give us clues to what's going on. The total crypto market cap's down less than 1%. The others, which is everything outside the top 10 of crypto, is down 0.75%. The total 3, which is everything outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, is down 0.66%. So that's all fine. Everything else, going into the rate cut, I want to see red. I've been very clear about this. I want to see red going into it. Almost like we're about to fall off a cliff and then some kind of good news saves us. Now, I'm telling you right now, though, if we get 0.25% basis point cut, the 1/4 basis point, 0.25, we're screwed. Risk assets are going to jump off a cliff. They will. If we get a 0.5 basis point, I'm not sure what's going to happen, because I could almost say that they were baking that in when we came up these last 15-20% from the bottom. But it would be better than 0.25. If they go 3/4 or more, oh boy. If Trump somehow gets his way, which would just be the central banks who speak through Trump, he's their puppet. But I don't want to offend anybody. It's just the way it goes in politics. But if the central banks deem it time to do 3/4 of a basis point, they do 0.75, we can put the rainy day umbrella away, and we're going to have a little bit of fun here for a few weeks. But if they do anything less, especially less than a 0.5 basis point, it's going to be a problem. And I know a lot of people are saying it doesn't matter what they do as long as they raise it by 1/4 point. Because the normal person will say, well, whoever you're looking at for this case, they can use the argument, well, we waited the whole year for 1/4 of 1%. What the hell good is that? Well, what good it is we're supposed to go up. We need to go up like 2,000 basis points where we're at. Our national debt, I was saying 37, 38 trillion. Do you know it's up to like 41 or between 41 and 42 now with the interest? Like, it's going really fast now. I mean, we owe all this money and we're going to cut interest rates. I mean, it's almost like Bozo the Clown has taken over. And that's about the only way you can even, I don't know. It's so weird. I mean, I love it for crypto. I love it for gold and silver. And I got some messages overnight, which was funny. I got one email. It goes, ha ha. I knew gold was topping because it was down $30. People are, oh, it's topping. Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet. I hope it goes down a couple $100 because then it'll go up way faster. But it doesn't seem to be the case here. I don't ever like the ha ha. I don't even do the ha ha. You know, I don't like to come on here and say, I told you to buy XRP at 35 and ha ha, you're buying it at $3. No, I like to say the time to buy was at 35 or 40 or 50. Not to crucify somebody. It's not the ha ha. No, it's something different. We're looking at a perspective outside of, okay, we didn't buy it at 35. What's the opportunity? Well, the opportunity very well could be in the XRP-Bitcoin pairing. I'm glad you asked. Looks like a bull flag starting to set up here. Looks like we're inside of a beautiful consolidation that is finally about to start taking off. You know, and there's a couple 100% all the way up to almost 900% here if it plays to the top. And believe it or not, we've never come close to where we were at up here. Even when we broke out in 21, this is the thing a lot of people don't actually understand. In 2021, when we broke out, this is as high as we got to the XRP Bitcoin pairing. Believe it. Doesn't that put it into perspective a little bit for everybody? Wouldn't you have expected it to be somewhere up in here maybe? But way down here? That's as high as we came up in that entire bull market of 21. That's pretty insane when you look at it. When you compare it to Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's gone all the way up to 115 right now, and we're up here. Which means we're breaking out. We're actually higher on the top side of that resistance as we're on the resistance side in 21. We're on the support side in 25. With Bitcoin all the way at 116, 115. Do you know what that means? It's almost a can't lose here over time. We know Bitcoin's the biggest Ponzi scheme known to man. And we know XRP's got massive utility. What does that mean? It almost means that you really don't even have to buy XRP now because it's so expensive. And now if you want to get longer in XRP, you start buying Bitcoin so that you can convert it into XRP and the XRP Bitcoin pairing down the road. So as the price of Bitcoin depreciates, you're selling that into XRP through the pairing. And yes, they have it available on KRAKEN, believe it or not. The XRP Bitcoin pairing, and it says 3x. That is not a 3x trade. That means you can take margin up to 3 times what you use. And you have to pay whatever their interest rate is. It's like the stock market. They offer margin. I would never get caught up in that because before you know it, you get margin called. And guess what happens? If you can't cover that margin, they sell off your assets until you can. So be very careful by going down that road. I don't like that road. That's no different than leverage, except that a little bit different way. So, you know, we're in a very provocative position here with the XRP Bitcoin pairing. I'm almost considering doing something drastic within the pairing. Not almost. I am highly considering doing something drastic here. Because this is something building. This is something building. And when it finally pops off, we were all over this back in 2024. And I know a lot of you rode this with me. We bought this back in June, July when it had that drop, when XRP at 38. We rode this pairing out and we blasted it. And we made, when we sold back out through XRP when it was plus 350. Oh man. Glorious. Glorious. That movement. Now I would like to capitalize on the rest of the movement. We talked about this in 24 and said, when this is done, and then when we sold out, we said, when it's ready again, we'll get back in this and we'll ride the rest of the wave. And I intend on riding the rest of this wave. So, but riding this wave doesn't mean you just buy in and then it doesn't go down at all, because we back tested this formation now, remember. Big time. Big bear. This is like big bear. So, just as excited as I was right here when it went and it started going up and then it dropped and I was even more excited, it's the same thing I'm looking at here, guys. Nice V-shaped recovery. Bull flag could be an inverse head and shoulders. I mean, come on now. Get out of here with this stuff. Good morning. 11:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. And it's looking more and more like I'm going to go very balls deep into this. The weekly Golden Cross. Last time I put $5 grand into it when it was in a similar formation. When I felt this is different. This is the caveat here. This could be where we actually start to go balls, not balls deep, ballistic. Some asked me, Tom, how do you buy the XRP Bitcoin pairing? I don't understand how it works. And some people were apologizing because they said I talked about it. Don't apologize. That's not a bad question. Even if I talk about it a billion times, if you don't understand, you don't understand. You got to ask the question. somebody's day 1 right now, even if somebody else is day 1200 watching. You see what I'm saying? So day 1 looks a lot different to what they understand than day 1200 plus. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021, and we've been here every single day. So there's been people here every single one of those days, which is crazy. Trading with J-Ride's in here, and he's been part of Tom's Army for over 4 years. And you know that because he's got the Phoenix badge. John Bugathorpe, thank you so much for the $5 donation and being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad. It says, hi, Tom. Trying to reconcile moves up expected in November versus some chart showing breakouts next summer. Any clarity would help. Thanks for what you do. I don't know if they're going to be in November. Some of these charts are showing breakouts could happen as early as the September 15th or 17th rate cut. You know, mid-November speculation that it would break out like past cycles. You know, we've never been in a cycle like this, though. So I try to give that clarity every single day. It's just hard, to be honest. It's hard. So right now, depending on so you would have to buy the Bitcoin through spot, and right now you would have to just so you know how much, if you're looking for the equivalent of 10,000 XRP, you're talking about over 0.27 Bitcoin or 0.26, but that's not what you're looking for. We're looking for a $5,000. You'd be looking for a 3,000. Let's just say you're looking for 0.1 Bitcoin. That's equivalent to 3,800 XRP right now. What you're looking for is for the Bitcoin price with the Bitcoin pairing. Let's say it goes from just hear me out. Just hear me out. It goes from 0.2632 all the way up to 0.45. So now instead of having, so right now the cost of Bitcoin, I want to do it from a more reasonable perspective. So buy. So we've got Bitcoin at 0.1 Bitcoin right now. So if it goes up to, obviously if it goes down, it'd be worth more XRP. If the XRP Bitcoin pairing went down, it would be worth more if you sold it out of Bitcoin for XRP. But as it goes up, it's going to start to reverse. And it's going to be worth more Bitcoin if you sell it as XRP. So you have to buy the Bitcoin when the pairing's cheaper, and then you sell it into XRP when the pairing goes up. So pairing goes down, you take XRP and flip it to Bitcoin. Pairing goes up, you take Bitcoin and flip it to XRP. So right now you'd be buying Bitcoin and flipping it in eventually into XRP, but you'd be holding it as Bitcoin right now. And I know it goes against everything we believe in, but the only time I buy Bitcoin is when I do the XRP Bitcoin pairing. So yes, when I bought $5,000 worth of XRP in the XRP Bitcoin pairing, it initially started at Bitcoin, but it was sold as XRP when the pairing went ballistic. And now you can also have that same understanding. If the pairing is going even, and XRP's price goes up, but the pairing is coming down, you can always sell the Bitcoin back into XRP for more profit like that still, just not through Bitcoin. You know, you can't hold it and make it seem like your portfolio is going up. You're actually going to appreciate the amount of XRP you hold if you buy it wrong. And let's just say you buy Bitcoin in the XRP Bitcoin pairing right now, and the pairing goes down, you're actually going to gain XRP. It's a weird thing. I know it sounds stupid, but that's how it works. And if XRP Bitcoin pairing goes up, you know, you gain a lot of profit selling out through the pairing via XRP. So, you know, if you believe in the pairing, that's how you do it. But you do have to buy Bitcoin for the XRP Bitcoin pairing. So if I bought it right now, you know, you can throw XRP into the pairing and flip it into Bitcoin right now. And that's what people do. So if you had 10,000 XRP, it would buy you 0.2612 Bitcoin, you know, and then as it reverses, because it's in Bitcoin, as the pairing goes up, you flip it back into XRP. And let's say the pairing's at 0.3612 now. Well, that 10,000 or that 0.2612 would only be worth 7,236 XRP But that 10,000 XRP is now worth 0.3612 Bitcoin. So now you're getting, that's the difference if it goes up. So, I mean, it's very confusing until you start doing it. But that's how it works. And there's a lot of money that can be made. And it can be made in two different ways. It's just the two ways mean different things. So if you're holding XRP and the XRP Bitcoin pairing goes up, that's good. I mean, you're making money off of the pairing going up. But you're not doing what you would do if you hold Bitcoin and the XRP Bitcoin pairing's going up. I take that back. Because if XRP's price is going down and you're holding XRP, you're actually losing out as the XRP Bitcoin pairing goes up. But if you have Bitcoin and the pairing's going down, you're in some trouble. Except for the fact if you flip it into XRP, you can get more XRP, but it just depends the way you buy it. So you have to have a firm understanding. I know it's confusing, and it is, but that's how it works. Almost like arbitrage, yep. That's right, Nick. That's exactly how you do it. You buy Bitcoin, then use that to buy the XRP Bitcoin pairing. Correct. Can you buy XRP and accidentally buy it in XRP instead of Bitcoin? I mean, if you buy XRP in the XRP Bitcoin pairing, yeah. Then you have XRP. And you don't have Bitcoin. See, the whole point of it in the XRP Bitcoin pairing is to have Bitcoin right now. I know it sounds stupid, but you want to have Bitcoin because the pairing is more favored towards that Bitcoin side right now. It's more favored towards Bitcoin side because of how low it is. If it was way up here, you'd want to have it in XRP if you thought it was going to come back down. Because then as you flip it back into Bitcoin down here, you're massively gaining wealth. Because you have it saying that XRP, you bought or you have it, but you don't want to ride it all the way back down. In the other way. So right now, Bitcoin, it's overweighted. So you want Bitcoin and the XRP Bitcoin pairing on that side of it. So when it goes up, you can sell it into XRP and it matures. Because the XRP side of the pairing is going to be way up. I know it doesn't take it makes no sense to a lot. And I know it cost me 30 viewers apparently because I talked about it. But I mean, it is a way that you can trade. It's not, I'm not lying. It is actually a real way to trade. It's the XRP Bitcoin pairing. You should be just as interested as this as an XRP if you're looking for appreciation towards Bitcoin. So, but yeah, that's where we're at right there. Digger says, I've been watching you for almost 6 years now, bro. Well, I started March 24th of 2021. So, unless you've watched me somewhere else before I started on YouTube, because I used to do on Twitch. I used to play COD Mobile, and I just started playing it, and I was trying to figure out the whole streaming thing, so that I could upload everything, and I just started doing it like that, and for whatever reason, well, I was good at it, and I guess because of the way I talk, I shot up to the #1 COD Mobile streamer on Twitch, and I would always be the #1 listed person, so when you go on there, that would just be my content, and it was pretty cool actually. That was pretty fun. I got a lot of people that used to watch. Well, in comparison to playing a mobile gaming off of your phone. I mean, I guess you could have seen me then. Ironically, that's when the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens was created in that time period in 2019. Somebody who was watching, she made it for me. And it stuck with me, and I wanted to use it as a tribute when I started this community, because I always told everybody there that, hey, this other thing that I'm going to do, this is what I'm good at, and if you stay the course, you're actually going to do very, very well. But, everybody wanted to play games and stuff, but that's the way it goes. Let's see. XRP right now going into the rate cut, it's very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, we are so far outside of this now that we actually would have to overextend. Where was this? We would have to overextend this now to see where this would hit on the uptrend. I mean, it's right around 288, 285. But this pattern still suggests this is the consolidation out of a cup and handle breakout. So, you know, this still suggests a big move. Like, we could have a very big move here. It should, I mean, in all reality, this brought us up here like it was supposed to. And then you got these higher levels, but now we've created the consolidation, even in the short term. We have not had a breakout out of this. I mean, it's come out of here. We haven't done dick. Even if it comes to right here, that should at least bring us up here in the micro to 378 in the worst case if it comes down to the uptrend and rides out. You know, now best case that this is where it actually pushed out, and then it can get us up to like 370. No, not 378. I mean, that's 378. I mean, both ways are fine. Yeah, 378. I like that a lot. You know, that's that range. And like, we don't even have to break out extremely bullish. We just need this to play out so we can get the appreciation. That would make it interesting if we came up there, wouldn't it? It would make things very interesting in this pattern. And like, I know we could look at it the other way with the chart that's drawn out for right now. But I mean, when you look at it like that and you take away the upper layer, you can see how it already back tested on the other one. You can see how, you know, back tested within this part of the framework. If you go to the other chart, that's why I have it set up like that. So you can see there was actually a back test. It was actually measured out. And it actually did what it needed to do out of that breakout. Now it's formed the consolidation on the cup and handle. You break out of this and get on top of this. That once you get on top of 380 and push out of here, that is only when you can start to break out and do the actual totality of this move. And it's something we're very patient about because I think it's going to happen in time, regardless of what it does. We went through that 6-year consolidation from January of 2018 all the way to November of 24, when it finally broke out of that consolidation, of that descending pattern. And our technical move up was $6.38 was the culmination of this cup and handle, which we drew out 3 years ago. We drew this out. So the fact it's doing it now, it's great. And yes, and I said it for years, I look like an asshole now until I don't. But if you stay the course, it's the same thing right now. If you just stay the course, this was set up years ago. We drew this out years ago. This is how we knew how to get out of the bull market in 21 and waited out until the uptrend of 23. It's how we knew. This was our cheat sheet that I put together years ago. And it got even better in 23 when we got that extra hit. And it got even better in 24 when we seen the hit on the resistance. And then it started to do for 8 months. But everything, it's the transgression, or it's the continuation and the understanding and just having the wherewithal or the conviction to ride it out, but not sit in it for the wrong time. Like, now is the time where, that's why I always say, now is not the time to be buying. You want to be buying in that big consolidation, especially towards the latter half. And that's why it's, once you can identify a pattern, you start to play off of it. Now we identified the larger patterns. Why would we think we can't identify the smaller time frames? Just think about it. What are we afraid of? If we know how to identify it over a 6-year period, and we waited through it for 4 years together out of that 6, what are we afraid of? You know, are we just afraid that we might miss out? Are we afraid because we just bought in? Well, I'd be afraid too if I just bought in. Not because I don't think it's going to go up, but because I know at any moment if it broke down, I could be looking at a 40% loss in my portfolio like it was nothing. And the higher it goes, the more those odds go up. The longer you wait to $6, the more likely you are to have a cataclysmic reversal. You know? So, oh, this is a beautiful place to ask questions. I agree, True. I agree. But yeah, Nick, it is confusing. Bought Bitcoin and bought XRP-Bitcoin pending, but it said I bought 280 worth of XRP. Yeah, it's going to show that's what it's worth of XRP. because you're buying the XRP Bitcoin pairing. It's still, you're still weighting it in XRP. It's still going to show you the value of XRP in the corner. So, but this is how it works, unfortunately. Oh yeah, I just explained that, so I went back on accident. Whoops. I don't want to confuse anybody. Solana to 350. I mean, Solana is the pump and dump token for the institutions and the investors, like the big timers in the USA. It is a USA crypto. So, you know, it makes me feel like a dope. Years ago, when we were watching, well, I mean, I didn't really watch it, but I knew it was going to have a big breakout. But I hate Solana. And we could have bought it at 15, 20, 25, 30, 15. We actually did buy it from 17 or 19 in the community and rode it all the way up to like 70 something. And then when it had that big dump back down, we sold it. And instead of buying it back, we just went in another direction. I could have easily bought it back at $40 after that and rode it all the way up to over 200. Like, that's the stupidity part of it. That was the, let's be short-sighted, knowing it's going to do all of this, but not ride the game through because I want other things and it's Solana. That's just stupid. You know, and I've learned my lesson in that regard. That was early Tom. That was Tom circa 23. Now I'm more in my own conviction. I don't care about all of this. You know, a lot of the stuff that I used to do stupidly before, I care about it because it gave me the proper toolage to where I know not to do it again, which is why you have to make mistakes. So Scotty says Chicago Mercantile Exchange CME to launch Solana and XRP futures options on October 13th, 2025. That's interesting. That is interesting. Tube update took away my like buttons. You hit it and pulls up the comment section. Can't like anything, changing my algorithm. Absolutely. It happens to me 6 out of 10 times I come on here. I can't like my own thing on my touchscreen that I use. That I look at. It's like a 32-inch move-aroundable touchscreen tablet, TV, whatever you want to call it. But it's on the Android system. It's a wave of the future, I think. But yeah, it's available for me today. 76 of you have hit that like button out of 122, so I appreciate that. And some of you can't, like Lori said, and I'm sorry, love, that they do that to you. It's such a pain. Such a pain. But I'm proud that you're here. Honored, actually, is the right word. I'm not afraid of making bank time. Exactly. I'm not afraid either. Let's look at the XRP chart right now. What's it doing? Okay. I have the XRP chart up right now. What's it doing? It's in the weekly, it's come down to a very nice spot in the neutral range just below. And when you come to the stochastic, we're trying to break past that 40 section, the 40 area, and that would put us back into a bullish scenario. With the moving average convergence, divergence, which is right above it, XRP's kind of in the middle. It broke a little bearish and it put in a red weekly, but there's not very much follow through, which is a great sign. That's a great sign that it didn't push harder. Generally, when you have a push like this, it can get out of hand the first week, but sometimes it's a stable hand, so it'll just be small and then you'll just get that big push through next week. We've seen it back here, actually. So we got to make sure that we're not doing the same thing as the week of March 3rd and then the 10th and all the way through here ended up red. Doesn't feel like that's what we're doing if I'm saying this and not sugarcoat. It doesn't feel like that's what we're doing. It almost looks like more like you get this artificial hold and then it just pushes up a lot. That's almost what it looks like here. But we don't know. It could get rejected there. You never know. Daily time frame. It looks like a small good reversal back to the top side. This is more bullish than not. Dailies come back towards the midterm, which is good. We were way overbought just 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And we said we needed to clear out before rate cuts. And we at least came back to the middle. That's what I was hoping for. This is good. This is actually good. Yes, we need to hold in here and then break back over. But this is good. We've given ourselves a lot of room to work with now. 4 hourly again, same thing. Even yesterday, we pushed back up into here. We wanted to push back down into here. We have this nice inverse pattern. Could be an inverse head and shoulders here. I know you can still use it in the stochastic. Isn't that crazy? And the MACD The flow is moving back. It's trying to move back into a more even flow, which could push back to green at any moment. We just need a good push of volume. If we look at the smaller time frames, like the 2 hourly, it's oversold, which is great going into rate cuts. This is what I want. I want this going into rate cuts. The 30-minute is holding near the major pivot in the middle. This is beautiful. Inverse head and shoulders in the small time frames. As long as this doesn't get invalidated down here at $2.95 on XRP, we look like we could cook. I'm not saying we're going to go to the moon, but it looks like at least this small inverse head and shoulders could cook us back to 310. And the reason why that's cooking is because now you're over that 306 pivot point, and that is what you need to get up to 330. So, Cannabis Podcast, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Syrian, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. I can't believe it's been that long so quickly. With 1 year at the I Told You So badge, and also a very trusted mod in here and an influential part in a mod in the Telegram as well. The official rate cut, anytime between 2:45 and 3 o'clock, you hear it, and then Jerome Powell speaks about it at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, I can't go live because I have to pick my son up. He gets out of school at 3:06. So, you know, I can't be live. But what I was thinking about, but I don't know if it would work because I don't know if I should do it, was putting my tablet outside, turning on the FOMC channel, and because I pay for YouTube Premium, you wouldn't have to watch commercials, so I could watch one of these other, one of the official stations like the White House or the FOMC's channel, and we could watch it live on my channel, and then as I come back, I could pop back in and talk about what's been going on. I could do that. I'm considering doing that. So I might play it outside and just have my Tom's Army in the corner, or show nature out behind me. And you guys would just have to understand that I'd be back after. So I think I might do that. And then at least our community could watch it in one place. And then, you know, I'll be back. I get back about 3:20 or so. And then we can watch the end of it together. So to say, well, my son's eating a snack and stuff. And then if something was wrong, obviously I'd come back and say, hey, my son were A, X, Y, and Z. I gotta turn this off because, you know, there was an issue or whatever. You know, and that's obviously unforeseen, but I think that'd be good for it. I think that could be cool. Nick, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation. Says you're the man. Thanks, Tom. You the man. I appreciate that. Doing lives from the car pickup line would be epic. It would be funny, but the signal wouldn't be good enough for YouTube, unfortunately. I've tried it before. But the signal is not strong enough just on the phone. YouTube kicks me off all the time. But it would be funny. Yeah, Nick, it's going to be madness indeed. I know it kind of sucks that I'm not going to be home when it starts. You know, isn't that kind of funny, Nick? You'll be at work and you're into this like no other. I'm into this like no other from a technical perspective, and I'm not even going to be able to look at it while I'm picking them up. By rule, I don't bring my phone because I like to just enjoy the environment. I don't like to bring my phone when I walk outside. I leave it at home or in my backpack. If I'm going somewhere where I need it, if something happens. But I don't like to have it outside, so... And when I work out, I'll bring it with me. I like to listen to Jordan Peterson when I'm working out. Dr. Jordan Peterson. And then I like to do my TA in the morning. How you guys seen me? I talk it out and then I put it writes it out as well. So, all this is madness, the Cannabis Podcast. And you said if you had dry powder to buy a possible dip, what would you scoop up? Not financial advice. No, it's not. As this is not, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is for entertainment purposes only, but since you asked what I would do, strong look at IOTA. Video description below and or pinned comments. And WEEX, they're available in the USA. It's safe for now. They have a 1,000 Bitcoin reserve, but I've put this warning out before I ever even used it. I put this out to everybody. If Bitcoin is at 50,000, You don't have to worry. But it's that cut down to 25 when you have to be like, oh boy, there could be some liquidity concerns here. One half break from there, you're fucked. If it's down at 12.5, exchanges go goodbye-bye. That have liquid reserves like that. Your stuff could go goodbye-bye. Because then it could be overweighted. But as long as Bitcoin is over 50K, there's literally nothing to worry about. They had these reserves back down at 25 and it was fine. But I know it was dicey at about 12.5. They were on the fringe of having to do or 15. It was some very dicey stuff that could have happened. Fortunately, they did not go down that road for the USA users. They did not liquidate holdings of their users. And they actually stayed whole. So they have that history in 21 when that happened, or 23 even, when we had the big drop. Again. So that's my warning to you. If you're on WEEX, obviously we monitor if they change something and it's not available in the USA, things would change. But they are available. It's out there. They have the papers for the USA users. But as far as, you know, that's how I would look at WEEX. That's where I'm going to buy IOTA and copy trading. If you want to copy trade it, I've been saying join it now for if I ever do it in WEEX. You got to click on the link. Post it on the pinned comments below. But that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. John, if it's tricky. Just because we get 5 cuts in a row doesn't mean crypto goes up. If they're all quarter basis points, it's not going to be good. But if it starts off, let's say today's 0.5%, it's a half a basis point. It's tricky still. We could still stay pat. Likely should move up some. But if it's only 0.25, we're screwed. Like if you hear 0.25, you might get a momentary push up, but it's going to fall through. But now if in the next one we get 0.75 and 0.75 or 1 basis point, and we're down 2.5 or 3, because Trump wants to go down in his own talking to 1.5%. From where we're at now, that's a full 2.75, maybe even 3 basis points, depending on how you look at the federal funds rate. But yeah, if we get 25 basis points, I would absolutely expect maybe you get a small rise out of trying to tempt people's fate. But I absolutely think with 1/4 basis point, I don't think we're going to get a huge pump out of that. That would be that's not worst case scenario, but it is worst case scenario in terms of finally getting a rate cut and only being 1/4 1%. If you're looking at it for rate, for risk assets. Something that is very interesting still is the fact that the Dow's up 304 points and the Nasdaq's down 119. It's unbelievable, actually. And the S&P's down almost 9, which is less of a resounding move because it's only 0.13%, but the Nasdaq's down over 0.5%. But listen, guys. The other caveat here you have to understand is when we do rate cuts, that's good. But the moment that everybody realizes that mortgage rates go up, car loan rates go up, your savings rate goes down, interest rates go down, so that should mean you should be able to refinance for a cheaper mortgage, right? Wrong. In this environment, what's going to happen is the interest rates are going to be cut for your federal funds and your savings rate, but it's going to go up over time here for your housing mortgage, for your car loans, for personal mortgages, for your HELOCs, for all this crap, credit cards, it's all going to be going up. The moment that retail sees that, they're going to call bullshit and say, what the fuck? And that's the moment I'm most scared for in this country. The moment that happens, what's the consequence of that moment? When mortgage rates bump up, when car loan rates bump up, when our savings rate bumps down, and interest rates are cut down through the Fed, don't you think that's going to cause a divergence when everything we save goes down? But yet the banks, hear me out, the banks say we can't pay you more because the rate of interest is going down. But at the same time, a credit card we offer through the bank, we can make it go up even though your purchasing power has gone down. That's that backhanded punch in the face, kick to the dick bullshit that they use in our political and public and financial sectors. We can't possibly raise interest rates on your savings account. We have to lower it. But we'll completely contradict ourselves by raising your credit card interest rates, or your interest rates on getting a car loan, or your interest rates on getting a mortgage for your house. How fucking stupid does that sound to anybody? Apparently not stupid enough, because everybody's begging for it. Oh, please, Trump. Oh, please, daddy government. Cut my funds in my interest savings account, in my savings rate, and raise interest rates for my housing. And please cut interest rates in a country that's $42 trillion in debt. Sounds like a stupid thing to say, but 99% of the USA citizens beg for it. They're begging for it. Half my audience begs for it. Just understand the bottom line. So I'm going to call it a day there before I get in trouble. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I should be back here this evening around 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all depending on my son. And just like that, you know, we'll call it a day, because I know I'm getting on the bad side of town here. And this is a place of positivity. I talked about this morning how Bitcoin seems to be putting in an inverse head and shoulders there. That seems to be speaking of something, does it not? Fair? Yes? No? Maybe so? It's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, Ethereum put in there an inverse head and shoulders. And Bitcoin also had an inverse head and shoulders that it was back testing. So it's interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. And Bitcoin did it on the uptrend. And is it not that Ethereum's doing the exact same thing as Bitcoin, just behind? Interesting indeed what we're looking at here, folks. Interesting and exciting day. Yes or no, should I put on the live for the Fed interest rate at 3 o'clock or by at 2:45 waiting for it, even though I will be gone picking up my son? Should I put it on my tablet live? Yes or no? Hey, even 2 yeses. It's all good. You are late, Frankie Fresh. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Give Janine my love as well. Hopefully she's watching. It was awesome that she messaged yesterday talking to us during the live. Mark Caston, yes indeed. Thank you so much. Everybody's saying yes. Mark Caston here for over 1 year with the I Told You So bag. Mr. Popcorn Bud for over 2 months with the Dust Out, or 2 months with Dust Hours Crypto News with Dennis Smith. William Hayes for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Sounds good to me. I'm going to do it. So it'll be on. It'll be outside. And when I get home, you know, I'll comment on it. So thank you all so much. Be blessed. And